How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to talk about capital gains and what capital gains is and how I handle capital gain tax, basically. Because not a lot of people know about it, especially in the last couple of weeks. What we've seen is GameStop, AMC, a whole bunch of things that have been going to the moon, the market being volatile and actually increasing. There's a lot of things that are coming up, especially when we're coming to tax time. So, what is capital gains? Basically, I have to deal with capital gains because I have many different accounts when it comes to stocks. I have a lot of stocks. So basically what capital gains tax is and what the term capital gains is when you or me, when we sell a stock or we buy stock, but it's more so when we sell. When we sell a stock, especially if we're making money off of that, whether you have one share or 10,000 shares, whatever you're making off of a stock, that has to be reported as gross income or supplemented income because the IRS does not like when you or me makes money and we do not report it. So I have stock that are really low in numbers, and throughout the years when I've been buying and selling stock, I've made a lot of money. I've made thousands of dollars in money. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I've made thousands of dollars. I've also lost thousands of dollars. So let's just be real about that. Um, so by making a lot of money with stocks here and there, I have to report that, especially since I use Fidelity as my main account. They at the end of the year they give me a bunch of tax forms, which is actually really cool. They help out so much. So I have a lot of stocks, and they give me a printout of all my stocks, all my trades, everything I've sold, everything I've reinvested, everything. And then I have different retirement accounts in different like long-term sectors, I guess we'll just say. And they give me printouts on everything I'm supposed to do with my taxes. And sometimes I owe taxes, and sometimes I get money back on taxes. But what capital gains are is basically, in the short little spiel, is it has to be reported as income. So there are times of the year where people, like what's happening right now, all these people that make thousands and millions of dollars on stocks, they have to report that. So whatever profit they made, you're damn well better believe that the government's going to take a percentage of that because it has to be recorded as income. And if you don't report it as income, the IRS is going to kick your ass. Not literally, but they're going to want to collect. So when I first started trading a couple years back, I was making a really good amount of money, and I was also losing a good amount of money. But what I didn't know when I would do my taxes and I was getting money back, there came a point to where I was just like, why am I owing so much money now in taxes? I was no longer getting money back from federal and state because I was owing a lot of money. And I was making really good money, and I make way more money than I did a couple years ago. But I knew that I wasn't at a point to where I wasn't in a new tax bracket. So what happened was I had other money coming in that the government wanted a chunk of, and that was the capital gains aspect of it. And that was the stocks. So I was just like, holy crap, like I'm owing hundreds of dollars in taxes federally and state and let's just get real with this real quick. I live in a state where my taxes are ridiculous, but that's another video that I'll make. I just wanted to put that out there. Because what I usually get is I get a lot of money back federally and I owe state, which I'm fine with because it kind of evens out, but side note. So yeah, I would had to owe, money. So what I do now is with all of my stocks, and I have a lot of stocks. I have a incredible amount of stocks, and I make sure that at least 80 to 85% of my stocks, I have dividends. I want to make sure that my stocks are working for me and pay me something back. So what do I do with my dividends? Basically two things. Half of my dividends go back and be basically reinvested into the stock. I buy more shares. I put it into something that works for me. Because if your money is into an account, whether it be Robinhood, whether it be Fidelity, whether it be Charles Schwab, make sure it's working for you. Don't just let it sit there and collect dust. So I make sure that's working for me. Usually it's to reinvest. Also, I'm not selling those profits which means I don't have to report capital gains. If anything you make, if it's $1 million and it just sits there and you haven't sold it yet, you don't have to report it because you haven't collected anything. So I basically let it sit. The other half I put into an account which usually it's in a third. I have it broken up really into three separate things, but mostly, depending on the percentage, it's like 2 separate things. The other thing I put into, which would be like a CD or other type of things that have monthly gains where it pays me back also a percentage, that pool right there is what I use to pay my capital gains tax. Because by making a good amount of money, I haven't really upped my tax bracket, but like I said, I make usually money federally and I have to pay state. But when it comes to the capital gains, when I report that, I use TurboTax, but I also have a lady that does my taxes too. It just depends on what I want to do. Usually when I put in my capital gains and tax forms is really when it fluctuates everything. So instead of having to use my credit card or writing a check or take money out of my own pocket, I'm using that other dividend money that was given back to me and has just grossed throughout the year. That's on the sideline. So I use that to pay. So you don't have to pay out of pocket. It's a smart thing to do. Not everybody does it. I had to do a lot of research. I watch YouTubers to see what they do with their capital gains. Researching capital gains is actually really interesting, but that's what I do. And I don't have all stocks that give me dividends, but I want to make sure that the majority of my stocks pay me either quarterly, biannually, yearly. And I make sure that even if the stock sucks, you have a stock like GE who really sucks, but their dividend payment is huge. I would have to do the research I don't remember it offhand, but they are notorious for paying a high dividend. At one point, a couple of years ago, when they were tanking, they were thinking about pulling their dividend down or pulling it away. So even if stocks suck, they're paying you back a lot quarterly, and especially the more stock you have into a certain like product or company, the more your dividend is. So I'm getting a good amount of dividends. So capital gains basically is reported income. You have to report it as supplemented income to the IRS on taxes. It's a certain form that will come in. So people that, again, if you're using Robinhood, if you're using Fidelity like myself, if you're using other companies, you're going to have to report it. So it could be a wake-up call for some people that made some money. The one cool thing, though, is you can also report losses, which I found out, because there would be some years where I'd be making a lot of money, but I was also losing a lot of money, too, on just weak-ass stocks and stupid decisions I've made with stocks. So there's some times where you'll get money back by reporting a loss, but most of the time, not really. But just be smart. If you invest in stocks, make sure that you have something to pay yourself back. And if you owe money on capital gains, make sure you're not having to pay out of pocket. That's the main thing, that when you get into stocks and you're investing, you don't want to pay out of pocket. Who wants to do that? That's stupid. So myself, what I do is I am smart and I use my dividends to do that. So I have dividends that go back and reinvest and I make more money. I have some dividends that go into just like play money where I can cash out if I want, or I can buy more stocks. But more so than not, the other half goes into a pool that accumulates and that I use to pay my capital gains. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope, you give me a like, and y'all have a great day.